It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the city of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
Good afternoon, Asheville, and welcome to What's Up Asheville at WRES Radio 100.7 FM, a radio show discussing all the initiatives and projects of the city of Asheville. I'm your host, Sam Parada, communication specialist with the city, and with me I have my colleague Kim Miller, also a communication specialist and media liaison for the city. How are you, Kim?
I'm well, Sam. It's nice to join you here today.
Yes, it's such a beautiful day out too.
I know.
And I hope it stays like that, Pretty red leaves, yellow leaves. It's just such a pleasure driving around the city right now. And so I hope it's a pleasure for you to, work as it is.
It is. I've been with the city of Asheville for about 2 years. I grew up in North Carolina, and so this was me coming home a bit, not to Asheville specifically, but I chose to come to Asheville.
And you've been all over the place. You moved from Miami.
Oh, well, yeah, I've been really blessed. I had a career in journalism for many years, and it took me overseas. I specialized in conflict zones, so it took me to Afghanistan, Iraq, Beirut, Iran. Name it, and I've been there. But so it was really a pleasure to come back to the States to raise my family and to find a home in North Carolina in Asheville this time.
Mm-hmm. So it's less intense, I would imagine.
I would not say it's less intense. I think municipal government and community engagement and the sharing of information can be very intense, but in a very good way, because you have a very active community here in Asheville. You have
Very
an
active.
educated and involved community, and I think that's really important. And I think the city tries very, very hard to get information out to the community.
Yes, and I love that you said it that way specifically because, that's the topic of today's show. Yes, we have a very involved community, and yes, you guys are so educated in what's going on in the government, but you can always learn more. And a lot of the times we hear people say that they were not engaged, that they didn't have a chance to engage. And, we will never be perfect, but I do feel very confident and happy with the level of engagement that we try to get out there. And there are so many ways to find information.
Well, yeah, you know what, I will say this. I think in today's day and age, it's hard to be a consumer of information because so much is coming at you, right? You've got digital, you've got traditional media, you've got your friends' emails, you've got, the grapevine, everything, and you've got to kind of wade through that and figure out what your valuable sources are and what your best sources are to get information and accurate information. So I really empathize with people today who are feeling like they haven't received information because I think it's really easy to miss. Especially you and I know this as communication specialists, so much is going out that unless you are following it, unless you are LinkedIn, unless you are following tweets or X, sorry, it can be really difficult to just kind of grab the information you want to get. And so we at the city of Asheville always try to use multiple platforms. And one of the platforms that I like to refer people to is the City of Asheville website because it's consistent.
And not only that, but, as you're saying, there's so much information going out, not just from us, but from other people who may be spreading misinformation unknowingly or knowingly. And so, you have to be very careful what you read and make sure that is accurate, and that's really difficult.
I think most people who are communicating with the community, be it through traditional media or even talking to their friends over the fence, have the best intention of disseminating what they believe is accurate information.
Yeah.
So what I always tell people is, if you have a question it's always best to go back to the source. And the City of Asheville website is a source where people who are involved in the project, involved in the decision making, involved in the funding, this is where their information exists. So if you've got a question, take a pause, go through it. And, you know, what I really want people to understand also is it's a two-way street. You can reach out to us. It's not just us pushing out information we want you to read. If you're having a hard time finding something, call us. I get it. You know, I've been at the city 2 years, and I'll still find a new little, you know, niche in on the website where it's like, oh, I didn't know I could find that there. So I understand and empathize with that, and we're always trying to help.
Yeah, and you know, before we move on, I do want to emphasize that a lot of what we're going to talk today is mostly electronic, and I know that that can be not necessarily the best way for a lot of people to get their information. So if you are not tech savvy, or you don't have access to reliable internet or a computer or a phone that can take you to these places, you know, find someone who can, for these specific situations. We've talked about before of in-person engagement. You know, we're trying to meet people where they are outside of electronics, but for this particularly, it's going to be very tech centric.
It is, but I would say this. I mean, if people are finding it difficult to navigate and get the information that they need, there are great resources. You know, we've got community centers all around the city. That staff is trained, and they may not know specifically the answer you need, but they know how to work within the system to get you to the answer you need. And also, you know, we have a customer service line, and I would, you know, it's available to people. It's not 24/7, but, you know, you can call that line and leave a message, and our people are responsive. You know, we do want to answer community questions.
I guess that's the only way we can get things done, really. We need your help to really just define the way that the projects that the city does, you know, take shape.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's your city. That's why we do community engagement, so that we can understand how you feel about it as a community, what your priorities are, how they align with the projects we're working on and the priorities of our city council.
So why don't we jump in? You mentioned the City of Asheville website, which is www.asheville.nc.gov.
That's right.
We use it all day, every day, so we're very acquainted to it. There are some tricks that we can give you, because it's not, you know, it's a new website for you, most likely. You can use the search bar.
Do you mean people are sitting at home just kind of scrolling through our website on a weekend? Like, that's so cool and fun to do.
You don't?
Yeah, no, I don't. Here's the honest truth. We don't spend a lot of time outside.
Oh, not outside of work. I mean, like, our daily, when we work.
At work, it's constant.
Yes, it is constant. So we're more used to it. So, you know, if you're new to using the website, if you don't know how to use it, we have plenty of tabs that take you to departments, services, engagements, and we'll go over some of them more in depth in a bit. But I think the most important piece on the website is the search bar. Just it's like Google. Type in a keyword that you want to find, and it's most likely going to take you to the project page or a press release, blog post that talks about it, and you can find information on all the projects there. It's really only a few clicks away.
Yeah, I tell you what, little trade secret, that's how I find a lot of stuff. Okay? Look, your search bar is your friend.
It is true.
Use it.
It is true.
But also on the front of our website, like if you come to the home page, what I really like about one of the things that IT has worked with the communications department to develop is kind of this important information. It's like right up at the top. It's right on the front. It's in a big section, and you're going to see that before you see anything else. And the things that we have there now is kind of like our downtown safety initiative. If you want to sign up for a subscriber letter, or you want the latest information, all you need to do is go to our homepage, and it'll lead you through a series of links to the right information, the latest information. Also, same thing with our community reparations project. If you want to follow what's going along with the Reparations Commission, if you want to sign up for their newsletter, go ahead. Go to our front page. That's as far as you need to go, and it will lead you where you need to go next. And I think that is a really great thing and we have the ability to adapt that front page. Like when we have code purples, when we have severe weather, we can put that up in a banner up top, and we typically give it a different color. If it's code purple, it's purple. And if it's if it's some other kind of far-reaching emergency or service interruption, we'll highlight it maybe in red or yellow, or depending on the severity. But it is really a good source to find accurate and up-to-date information.
And with winter coming our way, we have the best places to find information on the fly. Let's say that a crisis happens. Follow our Twitter/X account. That is the one way you'll find how do you say, like, live information, like real time information.
You're going to get real-time updates. Yeah, we use social media platforms at the city of Asheville, and I follow who you want to follow, but I think you can always do a search and go City of Asheville. We use Facebook, we use Instagram, we use X, which is formerly Twitter. We use LinkedIn, and one of the things that I really like is we use Nextdoor. And Nextdoor allows us to kind of have more targeted information to specific neighborhoods and things like that. We don't want to abuse that right. We feel it is that neighborhood or that neighborhood.
It's your space. It's your space.
It's your space. So we don't want to be invasive, but we do want to make it easy for you to find the information that's important to you, that you need. So I would definitely advise people to check in our social media channels. And one thing I would also let people know is out there that they may not know is our YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel is great because we put out information that you can watch the city council live stream. And
now it's easier to watch city council meetings because we have timestamps. So you can go specifically to the point that you're interested in. That's right.
I think they call it chaptering. And if you are interested, let's say, in reparations, if that came up, you could just type that into the link on the YouTube, and it'll take you to where that's addressed in the meeting. So you can pull up an agenda, follow through, or you can just kind of type the word that you want to look into more. We also use that venue to do a lot of the kind of special projects that we have. We have a documentary that was made on our elevators.
The historical elevator, yes.
Right. So we use that, I don't want to say as a clearinghouse, but it is a great wealth of information. Also, if there is a crisis, or a incident that rises to the level of doing a press conference or something, you can see those streamed live either on our social media channels, or you can get a replay of that. And I think that's really important for the community because I think our local press does a great job in covering the city, but they only have a limited amount of time or a little bit of column space.
And it's always so important to get your information straight from the source.
Straight from the source.
What better source than the actual press conference that happened?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So follow us on social media.
Yep.
Give us a like if you want. You don't have to. Leave a comment and subscribe. So we have, again, Facebook and Instagram. Usually we post press releases or events that are happening through the city.
That's right.
And then through Twitter/X, that's where you'll find more, you said it just now, real-time information in cases of emergencies. Go to Twitter/X to see what's happening and what the latest information is.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a really important part there is you mentioned that our social media and our city news website. It has almost word for word exact copies of the press releases that we send out. So be your own reporter. Read the information yourself. Don't let it get filtered out. Read it yourself.
Thank you for that, Kim. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about today?
Well, I'm going to go back, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
go back to the website, because again, I think you can find so much information there just on the front page. You don't have to be an aficionado about this stuff. You can just kind of tap into it. One of the things I really like on our front page, if you look at the top of it, it'll walk you through services, and that's awesome because that's some of the stuff that are the most popular things, like how to file a permit, sanitation schedules, transit maps, parks and recs events. Tap into that, right? But also it has an engagement hub, and that engagement hub is where you're going to find, it'll take you to a listing of featured projects and surveys.
So, yeah, let me take over this bit because I don't want to shoot my own horn, or is that how you say it?
Go ahead, blow your own horn.
Yeah. This is something that I worked on when I first started with CAPE to create a tab specifically for engagement, because our engagement page, it's not specifically ashevillec.gov. It's called public input, but you can get to there through our website. And this engagement hub is a place where you can sign up to receive emails with information, surveys, just leave your thoughts on different projects. And you can sign up based on your gender, your race, your age,
Yes.
your background, anything. And then what we do with that information is we create lists. And when departments are working on projects, so let's say reparations, we grab every person who says that they have a lived experience as a person of color. We grab the youth, because reparation is, about the future. And we compile those lists to create a campaign which sends emails to all of those people who signed up.
That's right.
And are you interested in planning and public development? Sign up for that. You can sign up for projects, and then if you don't want to hear about it anymore, just unsubscribe. It's very simple.
Exactly. You don't have to sign up forever, right? But what I really like also about it is, as you mentioned, it's like where your voice gets heard, right? And a lot of people are saying they don't feel heard, or it didn't feel heard in the past, and there has been an active evolution at the city to make sure we are providing as many opportunities to have your voice heard. Like right now, we've got the Parks and Rec Comprehensive Plan. That's an active survey. You can go on there and tell the city of Asheville and the Parks and Rec Department what you think the city should do for the next 10 to 15 years, what those parks should look like, what our services should be. It really is an opportunity to have your voice heard. But you can also kind of like register for things. Like we've got a learning session right now. It is the homelessness learning session, and it's been extremely popular, so much so that we offered some in October and November, and we've had to add for December because it's been quite popular. But that's a place where you can register, so you can have your voice heard, you can learn more. You can subscribe to newsletters. I big on that. I really think if you really want to be in the know, subscribe, because it comes to you in an email. And what we've heard from the community is you want to receive this information in an email format. And so you can subscribe to the Downtown News. And that's going to give you safety updates, what's the latest news in downtown, also reparations. Again, get that newsletter. It's the best way to stay informed with up-to-the-minute updates.
And there's just so much you can do in there, and not every department, not every project has a survey. It just depends on what step they are in that project or what level of engagement is needed for that project. But there's just so many avenues that you can take, and if you cannot show up in person for specific events for work, childcare, transportation, whatever reason, or maybe you just didn't feel like going that day, you still have a chance to participate and answer the surveys and be a part of the community or voice your part in the community for decision making.
That's right. That's right.
So outside of the engagement hub, unless you want to say any...
Well, I do want to say one other thing about the website, which I think is a new addition, and I think it's very important for our community and our growing community. Any page on our website can be translated into Spanish, Russian, or Ukrainian.
And those languages were chosen specifically because those are the top languages spoken in Asheville outside of English.
That's right.
So if you know someone who is interested in, what goes on with the government, but there's a language barrier, let them know that it can be translated. It's, I think it's on the top right corner.
It is
of
up
the
on
page.
the top right corner, and it looks kind of like a block with an A.
Yeah, okay. With an A?
That's a really bad radio explanation. It's up on the right-hand side, right next to that search bar. So there you go.
So, we have access. We want to make government accessible because, even if you're not from here, you do live here now. And we should not be leaving people out of the conversation.
Well, because government is you.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And government is the people who live in that place. So the more power to you if you can actually understand and have a voice, even if your voice is not in English.
That's right. That's right.
And I believe we're working on ways to give access to multiple languages. But right now we are in the starting process of this language accessibility plan. So, multiple languages, French, Italian, Japanese, whatever other languages that are not common in Asheville will eventually make their way for anyone who might need them.
Well, I think it's important to realize that the services grow as the community grows.
Exactly. And so that's why we chose those languages.
Exactly.
What else?
Well, let's go to people again wanting real-time information.
Sure.
I think one of the really important services we use is called AVL Alert. And AVL Alert is an emergency and non-emergency notification system.
Yes.
Okay. It's important to know.
Very important.
That. I mean, some examples of that is it's used to alert to roadworks, which, it is probably not an emergency unless, you're driving home and you have a screaming kid in the car, and then it might seem like an emergency. But we use it for various levels of communication, and examples are roadworks or water service issues.
I was going to say most likely you've received a text message or a call saying, this is the city of Asheville. Asheville Alert, your water, or you might be in an area where water might be affected. That is Asheville Alert, AVL Alert, I'm sorry.
That's right. And what I like that you brought up there is this can be citywide, or it can be targeted,
Very
right?
targeted.
So, I mean, literally to a point of dropping a pin in a map and drawing a circle in the radius that you want. So it's really important to kind of become involved with that, because it really is our main form of communication.
During an emergency.
Exactly.
And, I want to point out during the 2022 water crisis during winter, we were sending a lot of these notifications with updates through AVL Alert. So
that's right.
It is important, even if you don't really care about road work or things like that, it's always a benefit to have access to immediate responses from the city, explaining what is happening, what you can do to help, if there's anything you can do, what resources are available to you, because you never know when a crisis will happen. And signing up when it's happening might just not be as easy as it could be otherwise.
Well, signing up is pretty easy, but you're right. You want to be prepared. You don't want to be, in the middle of a crisis trying to figure out how you're going to get information, right? Better to go into it prepared. So, we recently went through Emergency Preparedness Month in September. That's a nationally recognized program, and we encourage people to sign up for AVL alerts. We're getting ready to go for us here in Asheville. November will be kind of a
winter
preparedness month.
Yeah.
Prepare, right? So what you can do to sign up, because if you're hearing of this for the first time or you dropped off and you're interested in checking it out, you can go on the City of Asheville homepage and you can scroll to the bottom, and there's a triangle with a big exclamation mark in it, and it says receive alerts. So you can click on that and it'll take you to the sign up page. But what I like about AVL Alert as well is you can enter multiple phone numbers, multiple email addresses. So you can choose how you want to be alerted, either text or a phone call. But I have, as an example, I have my son's school. I have my husband's business. I have our home. You can sign up for it if you have an apartment. Just sign up for the building, right? I know there was a lot of confusion about that, but you can sign up for your building, and if it's in the radius of an alert, you will get that alert. So, the whole thing takes about 5 minutes, and when you enroll, you are automatically subscribed to get emergency alerts. So you don't have to think about it. And also, you can change your contacts at any time. You can change how you want to be alerted at any time, your locations, or you can just opt out.
Yep.
Had enough, you can opt out, but
it's
please
right
don't.
There for you.
It really is going to keep you informed, keep your family safe. It's an important tool for you.
Well, we're running out of time, and I know we have a few more things to go over. I know.
That went so fast.
It goes by very fast. So tell me super quick about the Asheville app.
The Asheville app is awesome. You can download it.
You heard it from Kim. The Asheville
really
is
fast. Awesome. You can download it on an Android, or you can go on the website and sign up for it.
And Apple too.
Any kind of smartphone. But the kind of things that residents have used, it's basically your way to report stuff to us here at the city, right? So things that people have reported in the past is potholes, sidewalk hazards, accessibility issues, street lights that are out, abandoned vehicles, fire hydrant leaks, short-term rental violations, trash collection. But basically, so there's some categories, right? And it's parking, trash, water, code violations, or noise nuisance, okay? Homeless assistance, and also kind of transit information. But if you don't see it, there is a ask a general question. Go ahead and ask us a question.
And what is important to know here too is that you're saying there's a pothole, and tell us that there's a pothole, but at the same time understand that there's many people who've already also mentioned potholes in Asheville, and it's not. I don't want to set an expectation that if I say there's a pothole next to my house, that it's going to be filled up immediately.
Right. We're not Amazon. I don't want people to think I've reported this. Trucks roll into my door and I get my package in 24 hours.
Yeah. But thank you for letting us know. And there is a system that we have to go through. And sometimes it doesn't fall under the city's jurisdiction, and it's the DOT, the Department of Transit.
That's right.
So, it's important to let us know so we can start taking the steps for it, but it might take time. But at least you took the step to make us aware of it.
Exactly. And that way we have the data. And if you do that, and then your neighbor does that, and then the guy down the street does that,
then we know it's a high priority.
Record, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Also, making promises that does not make it get it fixed any faster. Also, please don't fill out your own potholes. It's very dangerous. We need to know. The city needs to know.
That's right.
Any last words, Kim? Engagement is your responsibility.
It is.
It is.
Well, I think it's everybody's responsibility.
It is.
I think it is two-way street. We can put out all the information in the world. If you don't want to receive it, you're not going to get it. So you have to be open to it. But what I like to remind people is that this is your city. The city website's a great tool. It helps you stay informed. It lets you participate. It lets your voice be heard. So use the tool,
Yes.
right? And then I would also want to just tell people, especially people who aren't comfortable with computers or don't have access, you can call us at the city. You can come in to City Hall, and we are there to help facilitate answering your questions. So, you can reach out to me directly, and I'm not always going to know the answer, but I am going to know how to get you that answer.
Do you want to share your phone number here, or is that like...
I can do that. I'll share my email and my phone number. My email is kmiller2@asheville.nc.gov, and my mobile phone, so you can get me anytime, 828-774-7602.
And that's anytime from 9 to 5 p.m. Weekends not included.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Kim. This was a lot of fun, and I think very educational too. And I'm sure Ash will be very happy to know the different ways that you can access information now. And yeah, that's all the time we have on What's Up Asheville today. Thank you very much for listening, and be good to one another, Asheville.
Bye, Asheville.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRS 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30.